Well, welcome to 2019. Gonna be an incredible year. My prayer is that it will be your best year yet. And I've been on some kind of momentum since 2014 where every year has not just gotten better, but much better. And what has made it better was I feel I've gotten much closer to the Lord each year. Uh, just had incredible times with Him, learning of Him, being with Him. And 2018 was by far the best year yet. And I do believe 2019 is going to be even better in many ways. And usually with that come, challenges as well. And we need those. Those are helpful, the discipline that keeps us on track and keeps us growing in the Lord and giving us things to overcome to make us stronger. So, I'm not saying that won't come with trials, but, think about this. James said, you know, consider it joy when you encounter various trials. Why don't we have joy in them? Knowing that, as he said, the eternal fruit that they bear in our life is more valuable than anything. Peter said the testing of our faith is more valuable than gold. So how many of you, when a big trial comes your way, it's like finding a big bag of gold? Not many. We don't think that way. But if we really saw from heaven's perspective, from the Lord's perspective, that's how we would. And I tell you, the greatest joy you could ever have in your life is aligning your vision more with Him. So that's my prayer for this year, that we see with His eyes, hear with His ears, understand with His heart, get closer to Him. Now, what am I doing up at 9 o'clock in the morning on New Year's Day? I was hoping to sleep till the crack of noon. We had the most incredible New Year conference yet. And my belief is by far the best yet. It was just remarkable. Every one of our guests who came, the guest speakers, just blew it off the charts. We had many others we weren't expecting to speak. Some that shared things and all, they were off the charts. It was like an incredible whirlwind of anointing there. And it wasn't just in the services, in the meetings. They were incredible, and the worship was incredible, but it was just the fellowship, everything, the whole time. It was really an amazing time, and we've been blessed. I shared how I thought our harvest conference this year, the most clear message that we've ever heard went out from that, came to us through that. Through all the speakers there. We had, Daniel Kalinda, Jeremiah Johnson, Lou Engle. We had, it's just a great group of guys, and every one of them was incredible. Incredibly clear and direct, and each message fed off the other ones and was joined, and nobody collaborated. Well, then the KBA followed that, and it went up a notch. But it dovetailed perfectly with the first one. And it was like one single message. It was just more to it, hammering things home, expounding on things. And that was, we had Ed Silvoso, we had Bobby Connor, we had Lance Wallnow, all speaking at that one, and it was something else. And we were it's like, these were two entirely different conferences. None of the speakers had spoken with each other or anything. And yet they all fit together so perfectly and just drove things further and deeper. And I felt like this New Year conference was another extension beyond the KBA. And there was just some special anointing there. And when I started MorningStar, I was given a promise that the Lord would give us a pulpit from which He could share His message throughout the world. And I feel that he's done that. I mean, it's not just the outreach, but even Lou Engle. You know, Lou is incredibly anointed. He's been a voice for our times. The amazing things he done. When he got in our pulpit, he said, "I don't think I've ever felt that anointed." There's something that comes on you when you get in the pulpit. Robin McMillan he just got to share a little 10-minute thing the Lord had shown him for the coming year. He told me afterwards he had not felt that anointed in 5 years. And so I think that promise is being fulfilled, and there's an amplifier, spiritual amplifier, on what comes out of the pulpit he's given to us. So I want to protect it. Of course, I've always tried to do that, and be really careful about the people we allow in our pulpit, to know it's right. Not just that they have a true word, but it's a timely word, fits with whatever else. We really take that seriously, and we want to provide the household of God with the best, freshest bread possible. It's the household of God we're serving, and so there is a responsibility. But I can't tell you how encouraging it is to me to just see what's starting to come happen there. We're limited in the number of people we can hold, but that makes it better to me. It's more intimate. It's the Lord did his best things and taught his greatest teachings with the smallest groups. And we're not trying to be a big gathering, or but we just want it to be pure. We want it to be the Lord. And as you can tell, my dogs are back, which I'm happy about. I love those dogs. But of course, our messages do go out all over the world. We have people all over the world watching the services and meetings and all. But if you didn't have a chance to hear the messages that came out at Harvest, we have them available in download, so they're really inexpensive. You can get all of those and all of the KBA together for one small price. We have to cover, of course, what it costs us to reproduce them and to distribute it. And but I'm going to add the New Year's conference to it as soon as our staff gets back to work and everything. And there's something happening. It is really an amazing thing. But I thought John and Carol Arnott in this New Year's conference, it was perfect having them there. One reason I asked them to come was the Lord had shown me they're going to fire another shot. This week is the 25th anniversary of the breakout of the Toronto Blessing. Randy Clark, of course, was a huge part of that. Many others, Larry Randolph. But that thing went around the world. At that time, I was traveling all over the world. Every year, sometimes we'd do a total circumference of the world, stopping in various places to do conferences and speak. And everywhere I went, people had been touched by the Toronto Blessing. Everywhere. You could not go, I think, anywhere on the earth and not, run into people who had been touched by that. It was an amazing thing. And it was mostly just God touching them. And it's like him tickling his children, And when my kids were little, I used to love to tickle them because I love to hear them laugh. And they would roll on the floor, and they used to call me the tickle monster. And I love doing that. I felt like that's what the Father was doing through the Toronto Blessing, which was called the Father's Blessing. It was like he was just enjoying his kids. There was some profound revelation that came forth and understanding, I think, about all of that. But the main thing was God just touching his people. A lot of people had so much teaching, so much knowledge. They just needed to know God loved them and touched them, and that's what it was about, I think, for the most part, which is the highest revelation of all. Well, I think something else is going to come from their ministry. And the Lord showed me that, and showed me that, I talked to John, and he said, man, I'm getting he was just turned 78 years old. And I said, hey, Moses, that was too young for Moses to get started, and we have a better covenant. And he agreed. He's going to go for it. He's got a vision for much, much more than happened in Toronto, from the Toronto blessing. And, but let's celebrate with them this year's 25th anniversary. It's called the Silver Anniversary. Silver speaks of redemption, and many were redeemed through that movement. But something greater is coming. And you feel it everywhere. It's just like we are on such a thin edge of a major breakthrough all over the place. And I do think it will be known as the Third Great Awakening, maybe the final Great Awakening. I think it's going to be the greatest move of God of all, the harvest that is the end of the age, and many things like that. I think it could unfold over many years, decades, and just get better and stronger and deeper. It's going to transform nations. You're going to see nations truly discipled, which is the Great Commission, is to disciple nations, not just individuals. I think we're going to see transformation of nations and come into alignment with their calling and destiny and God, and so many great things about to happen. Well, 2019, in my opinion, is a major time of preparation before something really serious starts to unfold in 2020. Now, everything's serious. God is among us now. We don't have to wait for someone to come stir the waters when the King is standing right next to us right now. But I do believe overall in the nations, 2019, we're going to feel a tremendous acceleration, tremendous building up of spiritual pressure. It's going to be like building up before it just cannot be contained any longer and explodes in 2020. That's my opinion. Now, I've been saying this for many years, but I think it's happening. I think it's verified that it is happening. But thank you if you were able to join us at the New Year's conference. Thank you if you couldn't be here, but were able to join us online. If not, get the videos. I'm going back myself right now, starting over with the harvest, the messages at the harvest conference. And I'm going to cover everything the Lord said to us again now too. And I take notes on when I think I was speaking, I take notes on it because I don't want to forget. And sometimes I sit in me, so much stuff is coming so fast you could forget it before the end of the meeting. I don't want to forget anything God says. I want to do it. It's not hearing His words that cause us to build on the rock. It's hearing and doing. So I take notes, and then I go back and I read my notes, and then I go back a few weeks later, read them again, underline them, write down what we need to do to fulfill the calling, to do His word. And so I'm going to do that, and I would just encourage you. I think a clear trumpet call is going forth, and I just encourage you to go check out those messages that you can get at the MorningStar bookstore and on our website MorningstarMinistries.org, and we'll get them to you right away. Now, all my staff is off today. You can order them today, but it may be tomorrow before they're sent out. And but we will get them to you really fast. And I take time. When you have them on a download or a CD or DVD or something, you can stop them. When you hear something, stop it, back up, listen to it again. Write it down, and especially things that you feel like God is speaking to you personally. That can be far more powerful than when you hear it live the first time. You can get more out of it. Anyway, I'm just saying, it is going to be a happy new year. It's going to be a great year. It's going to be, I think, our best year yet. And I've been so tied up in these meetings. I haven't had a chance to do any rants or anything. So just checking back in. I am still alive, but I'm more alive than I was a few days ago, I think. So anyway, just wanted to pass it on to you. Let's resolve. By the end of this year, we're going to be so much closer to God. We're going to be contagious with the love of God, infecting everybody we come in contact with. And this will be the best year of our life if we get closer to Him. Thank you for joining me today.